changing things up this time. If you've never fired a gun before, you're about to have no choice. Oh, and so you don't go getting all fancy with your kung fu, I'm taking away your ability to fight hand to hand.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Matrix Path of Neo. Yeah, now we are doing more of the training bit of this game, and now we are training with guns, which are what we are going to be using in the overwhelming majority of parts of this game. As you could probably imagine, guns and kung fu are a pretty big part of the whole Matrix universe. Unfortunately, as I think I've mentioned before, there are, now that we're getting into heavy shooting parts, which I'm doing this part extremely haphazardly, I don't think I need to issue any more warnings about how I'm not good at video games. I think most of my viewers are already aware of that fact. But, this is where we start getting sections of this game where the aiming and movement with the shooting stuff can be kind of wonky, especially when you have a lot of people on the screen and like they're not immediately visible, but they're like on the map and whatnot, so you can target them when you're trying to target something else, and just in general, like switching who you're aiming at with the right control stick can be fucky for me for some reason. And like around corners, like I find hiding behind cover, trying to shoot people in this game to be like mostly unhelpful more often than not, and I prefer to usually just rush in. Most enemies are more easily taken down with kung fu anyway, so you just, you know, keep yourself airborne, shoot at them, and then try to hit them. Not a perfect strategy, but I mean right now I'm about to fucking die. So I guess I should be using the cover here. But in most practical scenarios in this game, as I've played through it, it just seems to be a hindrance just because the movement and control with it is kind of weird. How you have to like peek out and then aim and everything. Like, I wish that just holding the aim button like made you come out and aim, you know? So I end up just getting shot in the face like 3 times while I wait for Keanu to look up. And yeah, there I was, you know, taking the cover thinking that they were gonna stay on the stairs. I guess that was stupid of me. I don't really love this, this part here, this whole section, especially coming up here. This is what I'm talking about with the weird aiming, like, I'm pressing buttons and doing things while Neo is just kind of like jogging. This is me being scared. And like not wanting to go down because I know there's like 50 people with guns at the bottom of the stairs. I'm also waiting for my health to regenerate. And yeah, parts where you have these fucking extinguishers that explode for whatever reason, it always wants to lock on to the extinguishers, or not sometimes, like down here. I don't know why this part always gives me grief, but who knows. Anyway, but yeah, that's what this is. We're gonna do some not very shooty stuff in the next section after this in a few minutes, and then the back half of this video is going to be a rather lengthy but pretty fun, especially the second time around when I actually kind of know what the fuck I'm doing. Longer section where it is just a bunch of enemies again, like this episode, like this level, except it's a little bit more structured. And LOL at me taking cover behind this thing because I'm hitting L2 instead of R2 and just getting, like, shot at by 5 people immediately. And yeah, see, like, I'm over here, I'm literally, like, 2 feet in front of 3 actual dudes pointing guns right at me, and instead it's like, oh, you want to shoot the fucking fire extinguisher or the guys behind the stairs, you stupid asshole. And like, thanks, that fire extinguisher was sure a lot of help with those guys. Also, like, you know, I can't see all this shit. Like, this is the fucking PlayStation 2. When you're at the top of the stairs, I don't know about the fucking fire extinguisher. And yeah, I didn't know what they wanted me to do. Now I'm just, like, very disoriented and confused at this point. What if I did... I mean, I think it's pretty obvious I'm doing post-commentary. That's kind of how I do my thing. But, I wonder if I started acting like... I don't know how I would do it convincingly. If I started acting like I was doing commentary live for this, would people be fooled? Because I honestly don't know. Discerning viewers, I don't think they would. People who have watched live commentary videos of mine. Because first of all, I would not finish a single thought. I would not actually complete any sentences. Because in the middle of saying anything, I'd be like, oh, dang it, to something. And yeah, I don't know why I keep engaging this guy like he's a regular enemy when he's an agent, so you can't do fucking diddly dick shit to him at this point in the game. They kind of just, I mean, it's the fucking training thing, so they just make the agents like, don't even fuck with them, just get to the end, and then there'll be a thing.
Hey, you found my secret stash. Nice job.
Here's the only secret thing in this game that I know about. And I don't know if I got my bonus award. I did complete the mission, like I finished the level. And yeah, there's another one where I just like stand in front of a guy just drilling me with bullets. I do really like this this setting here and that opening bit of this level where they were all shooting. It reminded me of a scene from Hard Boiled, the movie with John Woo, which apparently I've been informed of the existence of a video game based on Hard Boiled. At least I think it's Hard Boiled. It's a John Woo movie for sure. That apparently had like some significant involvement from John Woo. And I had never heard of that. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what like kind of game it is or if it's any good. But if I can find it, maybe I'll give it a go. You know, maybe we'll do a let's try of it. Oh, hell yeah. Look, I'm the gun god.
Morpheus would like to see you now. I think he has something special planned.
Ooh, a party? Oh yeah, here, we're back in the zone. This is what I see in my head when I go on the computer. I should have just edited that out. I've been editing out a lot of these because we can't really do anything with it now. In a little bit, we're gonna start getting little cool points where you can buy the little characters and get new abilities, but we can't really do that right now, so it's kind of just, you know, how you know that the game saved. Anyway, here we get to fight Morpheus, which is, you know, all good fun. I pretty much just do the same thing. We haven't gotten too many abilities yet, so we're kind of limited on especially, like, finishing moves. which makes this like less amazing and exciting. I'm also not like utilizing my environment very much. I could be tearing this shit up and jumping off of shit, and I think there are some weapons around here that you can use, like a stick or something. But punching and kicking seems to be doing just fine. I kind of like when he flies across the room like that. He's not really getting too many licks in on me right now, except for the one that happened while I was saying that. I like when they get the Matrix code around their head. Like, oh shit, I'm so high on computer. Speaking of computer, did you guys see how at the whatever awards, Gabe Newell accepted the award for like best platform ever for PCs, for PC, like on behalf. They had Gabe Newell accept an award on behalf of computers, which I think is very funny. They should have had Bill Gates do it because he invented computers. I know that's not true, but there are probably people who do think that. There are definitely people who think he invented the internet. I mean, he didn't even really invent Microsoft.
Focus, Neo.
At least not the things that they make. I don't know. I should watch Pirates of Silicon Valley. Anyway, here's more stuff. We went sicko mode and got no new things, so now we can punch better. My strategy has not changed. With fighting Morpheus, this is a good example of this game really does get at like what I, as a Matrix fan, am really looking for from a PS2 era Matrix game, which is just getting to play parts of the movie that you think would be fun to play, because there's tons of them in all three of the movies where you watch it and you're like, shit, if this was a level in a video game, that would be sick. Like, I don't know, I have not gotten to it in my own playing of this game. Whether or not, I don't know if I even really have time to, like, play ahead on my other file much in this game alongside, like, recording it. But, so it might be blind when I get to it, but I'm interested to see how they handle the, ooh, you got a good one in there. Ouch, my frickin' face. I got footed. Like, I'm interested to see how they do the highway scene from Matrix Reloaded, as well as I know that the many Agent Smiths fight is a level in this game, and I imagine it's going to be very long and pretty hard, like a wiener. Because, I mean, that scene, it's hilarious how long that scene goes on for in the movie. And, I mean, it's a bunch of fucking Agent Smiths, and in the next, I think, either the next video or the one after that, I don't remember how I split these up. Oh, this part's cool. That looks nice. I love this setting. These, like, I'm probably going to make a fool out of myself and say Japanese. It's China, whatever. I don't know what thing they're appropriating, but with these interior design, I mean the part in the last one with like the ghost and whatnot, that was definitely Japanese, right? Like I think they were speaking Japanese. It looked like ancient Japan stuff. Even though, I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're... I'm too dumb to know what they're stealing from here. Who they're stealing from. But anyway, I like it. It looks nice. And it, like, I kind of wish, like, that whole section... Wow, that was fucking fail, Neo. Luckily, It's just a game. I kind of like want a whole game of just like, not necessarily the sword fighting in this game, but like a part where you do that. Maybe I should play Sekiro, even though I'm very bad. Well, I can't, I guess, really say that because I have not played them, but I would imagine I would be very bad at that type of game. The very popular and I'm sure very, very good Dark Souls type action RPG. I mean, I sometimes have trouble with this game where, you know, you can walk up to someone that is just like spraying 50 bullets right in your direction and you can like kick them in the face and be fine. So I just don't imagine that me and Dark Souls or anything of that flavor would hit it off. But the aesthetic, the setting of that kind of thing, or like Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that, or a game that my brother played that I watched him play as a kid that I thought was amazing looking was Jade Empire for the Xbox. Don't know shit about that game in terms of like what it's about or whatever, but I remember being like, wow, I'm 8 years old and this is the most advanced technology that I've seen, and it looked cool. Anyway, enjoy the movie clips.
Trinity! Help! But where they have failed, you will succeed.
How did you do that?
Do what?
Why you're here?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
So you're here to save the world. Why, oh why didn't I take the blue pill? I'm not the one. Morpheus believes in you, Neo. He believes it so blindly that he's going to sacrifice his life to save yours.
I hope the Oracle gave you some good news. APOC, we're moving.
What the hell?
Neo!
Neo, we're cut off. You're going to have to make it to the wet wall yourself. We'll meet you there.
So here is what the rest of this video is going to be, which is this section of what appears to be like a hotel.
Wet wall. Got it.
Or something. Yeah. The thing about the movie clips is that they're all like out of sequence, and so like they show a lot of clips from the first Agent Smith fight, and like we're gonna do that in like an hour and a half.
There's a wall blocking it off. A wall? Yeah, it's strange.
I mean, I know why, and it's cool, you know. And it's not like the movie goes in 100% linear direction in terms of like what it's showing, I suppose. But anyway, I like this part. This part's fun. You just got a bunch of rooms with dumb cops in them, and you go in and you either shoot them or you boot them with your foot and hands. So pretty funny. And yeah, as I've said most of the time, I mean, here the best thing to do is just not do anything because there's a wall. But usually going close seems to be a better idea a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Especially later when we get the SWAT guys that have the shields, because shooting them does basically nothing. But beating them up does. Especially if you get them with an aerial hit first. Like if you jump at them, get a couple shots in while you're in focus mode, and then you know, put your gun away, and then at the bottom of your jumper you do a double jump, and then you try to time it to hit triangle and hit them with a aerial kick, and that will like stun them, and then you can go to town, you know. It's just some strat tips from me, who's played this game for like a total of 8 hours and is not very good at it. Just from what I've gathered from my experience. But yeah, I would really like to do a Let's Try of that John Woo game, and some other stuff. I feel like it's been a little while since I've done a Let's Try, and it might, you know, I've been, you know, between like My Sims Kingdom and then B-Movie Game and now this, I can already tell this is not going to be one of my most popular LPs, at least in the short term, which is fine. I'm doing this mostly for me because I like and am excited about The Matrix. I love living in it, and I have been enjoying this game for the most part that I bought, and I'm excited to bring some co-commentators on probably next week, assuming that I put up 2 videos this week, which I'm gonna try to do. We'll see if I actually do that, but I think, yeah, next week, starting with part 5 or part 6, I'm gonna start bringing on some co-commentators like JT, probably Tyler, maybe my brother, and his former roommate, who's a friend of both of us, who is also a big movie guy, also at least likes The Matrix. Yeah, just find some other Matrix heads and we can shoot the shit about whatever, and I think it'll be fun. But I do want to do things that people like and are excited for, and that engages a good portion of my audience and maybe even expands my audience on this channel. I am interested in doing that, and I think, you know, the factor that I'm in control of, that I'm the most willing to, you know, change, is like the kind of game I do. Not change as in like, you know, let people choose what the next thing I do is, essentially, instead of just doing, because the last few, it's been like most of the ones I've done this year in order have been ones that I've been planning to do for a really long time, and like that I planned ahead to try to get done this year. But I think that's why a Let's Try might be in lieu of like a poll or something. I might do a poll either way, but a Let's Try might be a good way to like get some feelers out of what people are into. But yeah, like in terms of like a longer game, or do people want something more like when I did like GTA or something like that? Do people want another SpongeBob game, or just another licensed game, or, you know, any in particular? You know, I guess you can, you know, certainly sound off in the comments if you have any input yourself. But that's the kind of thing that I would like to, either alongside or after this LP, try to figure out, and I think Let's Tries might be a good way to do that, so maybe I'll look into some stuff to try out and see if I would like it. I wanted to talk about something that I was talking to a friend of mine here in the city. He was over for he came over to my house to watch a movie. See, that is a time where the fire extinguisher is quite useful. Blew up all those cops' frickin' heads. Something that I find funny, and is something that I also was thinking about recently, a couple days ago actually, where me, Walter, Tyler, Bobby, Kevin, I think that's it, Liv for a little while, we were all watching Matrix Reloaded over Discord. We watched the first Matrix a while ago together, It was Walter's first time, and I think Kevin's. And then we watched this one, and we're going to do Revolutions as well. Something that I was thinking about while watching that, because there's so many good action scenes in that movie. Seriously, Matrix Reloaded has, like, when I just think of... Because I kind of just think of the three of them as one big thing, because I kind of like them all close to the same amount, and I think they just, like, they work as a contained three-part narrative, which is why I'm interested to see where the fourth one goes. And so... yeah, I don't know. I just, I was thinking about guns in movies, and how guns are one of these things that it's funny because I really have no care for or interest in them in real life. I kind of think people who are, like, really into guns are, like, kind of weird. I mean, I know that, like, not every person who's into guns is, like, a right-winger or an insane person or, like, a doomsday prepper or whatever. And, I mean, either way, like, your thing is your thing, not trying to yuck your yum. People are into stuff. It's whatever. I can see where someone would have an interest in it, but... for me, I don't really get a kick out of it. Like, just like the technical aspects of guns, I can't really get super interested in that. It's never been a part of my life or a thing that I really care about. And then socially in America, there's a whole other, that's a whole nother thing. But I think they're dope as hell in movies, guns. Guns in movies, a scene with a lot of good gun stuff is great. Some of the best stuff you can get in cinema. John Woo and Johnny To in particular have a lot of gun battles in their movies that are just so, like, sensuous. They're very intense, and when I say sensuous, I mean, like, the sounds especially, like, not only the shooting sounds, but when they're preparing for the shootout scene, and everyone's loading their guns and all the clicks and clacks, they really emphasize a lot of that, and visually also they emphasize the guns. And, you know, there's a lot thematically going on in a lot of John Woo and Johnny To movies with that. But just even on the formal visual level, the gun battles are just so incredible and fun to watch. And it's the same thing with cars in movies. I don't really like cars in real life. I think, again, socially is my main thing with them, like how they operate in American society, the fact that our post-war reliance on oil and rubber and the auto industry and everything made us invest in a bunch of highways and car infrastructure that sucks, and not any sort of mass public transit. There's also a whole thing about the psychology of cars and American individualism. Everyone has their own little private transportation thing and their own little private world and whatever. I also just think they're dangerous and inefficient, and I also just personally don't like driving very much. But cars look really fucking cool on film, and a lot of the best things visually in cinema that I've seen, there are a lot that involve cars, and especially the Fast and Furious movies. Like, I have no interest in, I actually kind of hate car culture, like bro car culture, but Fast and Furious, which is full of that shit, is just, I mean, when it's good, the good ones, there's just, on a sensory level, something so fun about watching what all the cars do and watching the cars in that. And I think cars have always been an integral part of cinema, and I mean, it makes sense because the technologies for both of them developed right around the same time at the turn of the 20th century, so that sort of mechanical, modern element is there. Same with trains, even though trains obviously predate film by a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. They're things that just, they've been in cinema since it started, and it can just give you so many great cinematic pleasures. Anyway, next time we will be doing whatever is next. I already forgot. See you then.